right, hey, we finally made it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for waiting patiently and come back if you happen to hear this. All right, welcome to another session of Conversations with Geoff, where it's been interesting getting here, but we got here. Where our mission is to bring guests like we have coming on today that are willing to share their experiences from every different aspect of life you can think about, from all over the world. And they come in here and they give you the best that they have in hopes that you can take what they share, add it to your toolbox, right? And have another weapon against the stinking thinking that we all deal with each and every day, which I believe to be the biggest culprit of stealing our dreams. It's that conversation we're having with ourselves about ourselves. And more importantly, how we listen to it, how it affects our lives, right? Oh man. So listen, for those of you who don't know, my name is Geoff Tyson. I'm the host of Conversations with Geoff International and founder of Comeback King Enterprises. And our mission, again, is in line with our guests. So let's just get to why you're here today, right? Okay, let me give you a quick bio on my friend and our next guest. He's, boy, he does so many things. He's a speaker, best-selling author, marketing genius. I call him a business consultant, live streamer, and live producer. He's a master connector. I mean, the man is an angel in so many ways. He connects people in all walks of life. And we just met because he was meant to connect with me. And he encourages and inspires and makes people smile. And what I love about him most, man, and he'll talk a little bit about it, is that you would never know the things that he's going through physically. He shows up and he's always talking about other people. He's always talking about praying for and encouraging other people, right? And that's the gift. Oh, man, that's the gift. And his goal is to add value by encouraging, as I mentioned to you, and helping you be more engaged and have a positive life. Hey, okay, so let's get into the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring them to the stage, my friend, Mr. Russ Hedge. He's already doing a whoop, whoop, baby.
Whoop, whoop. All right, we're here. Let's do it. Come on. Oh, my goodness. You know what? I love this, Geoff. Even through technical difficulties, we persevered.
Yes,
we're
sir.
here. You know what? And the world did not fall apart because we were 10 minutes late. Everybody's still here. All right. Here we go.
Yes. And I love the fact that the world didn't fall apart, right?
That's always a good thing.
I mean, that's in so many ways, but that happens to a lot of people, though, Russ. Stuff like this blows up, man, and then the stinking thinking comes in, and then they don't do the show, maybe, or they make excuses for it. And man, that's what I love about you, brother. You never make excuses. I mean, you're always kicking it real. So it's great to see, man. Great to see.
Well, I love the fact that you have such a great spirit and such a warm and loving heart, and you're just such a great friend. Talk about giving. I mean, taking time and coming to see me when I was in New York last fall, taking time out of your schedule with your beautiful wife and coming to see me. I really appreciated that. And we were both in New York, and you live in the Houston area and I live in Oregon. I mean, oh my goodness. So who knows where you're going to see your friends?
Oh man, that's so true. And that wasn't planned at all. I mean, it was truly divine intervention that made all that happen. I mean,
amen.
And you were able to hang out with me and take me into while you were there and show me what you were doing and making a difference from coast to coast, baby.
Coast to coast. There you go. I mean, do what we can, right? Take the energy that God gives us. I think every day, because I definitely do not have the energy that I used to have. And I have to rest to take care of myself more. But when I do have energy, like mornings are a good time for me. So this is a good time. And I'm always trying to get out there and make an impact, make an impact with what you can, even if it's just a little bit each day. Everybody can make a difference. Everybody has value.
Yes. And that's so true, man. And people probably don't know how real that is for you. Right. I mean, because you show up, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the things that you've gone through, where me included, probably at times would be laid up, taking a nap, and not showing up, not being present. And man, I every time I'm starting to feel bad about myself, you pop up with a smile on your face, and you're encouraging somebody to get through something, and it's just And I love what you say, that God's not done with you yet.
That's right. That's right. Oh, definitely not. And well, actually, here I haven't put it on yet because it's warmer now, and so I have it ready to go. But there it is. Woo-hoo, God's not done with me yet, and I'm going to have a little physical therapy today after on my foot where all the cancer started after we get done today, and so I'll throw my God's not done with me yet sweatshirt on and take off in that.
Yeah. And tell us, Russ, if you don't mind, since it's in the air right now, a little bit about that journey and dealing with the illness and the darkest time to the lightest.
Yeah, it continues to this day. I'm waiting for results today from my latest MRI, but the good news is not only has God not done with me yet, but my latest PET scan came out really well. So it all started back in the summer of 22. In July, I found a wart on my foot, we thought. And then a month later, it had grown to the size of a quarter and turned black. So based on my beautiful wife's good advice, I went to the doctor and they did a biopsy, found out that it was melanoma. It was very invasive melanoma. And so they immediately sent me up to OHSU in Portland. They did another biopsy, found more.
Smile like a skate.
We had to do
for a week or sometimes 2 years.
Surgery. And I'm hearing a lot of stuff on your end now, Geoff. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Russ. Hang on.
No, it's all right.
So
I'll give you an example.
Somebody wants to talk to us.
Yeah. Tony Robbins training.
Hey, you might just have to close that out.
Just random. See how I can get that out of here.
Different advantage when you learn
It's all good.
types of sciences or
I hear Tony. Tony's great.
as you learn them, you begin to understand.
Turn into Tony Robbins today.
Right now, though, right? I think I got it. You still there, Russ?
Okay. There we go. Are you still there?
To the human development system, a human
Oh,
psychology.
there. Tony's back.
So every year, I bring a group to Fiji.
Oh,
And
man.
part of what I do is I bring people.
That's all good. You probably just have to close out that window.
Yeah, I've got to
And
find
my
out where it
guest today was
is.
not only Fiji, but introducing them to each other.
Just randomly
Most of them
popped
know
up.
of each
So
other.
this, everybody, is working through technological difficulties, which we all have at times.
One year, I invite a group. One
And
of them
we're
was
going to
Tom
solve this one just like we solved the other ones.
He, the coach of the Knicks, and Alan's a piece of the Miami Heat. Dear friend of mine.
Man.
So one of the greatest coaches in history. Another one is my friend, the surgeon that Joseph mentioned to you, best surgeon in the world, facial surgeon in the world. 2 millimeter changes. He can make somebody who's in their 60s look like they're in their 40s. No bullshit.
Hey, I've got a great idea, Geoff.
Yes, sir.
So he's a total
Leave me here in StreamYard. I'll keep talking. You go
Okay.
out, get rid of that, and then come back. That's probably going to be easier for you.
That is a great idea.
Because then I'll be here.
Here you are, my friend.
Okay, everybody, here we go. So I'm still here live. And so Geoff is an amazing person, and technological things happen, technical difficulties all the time. So just going to continue on and just tell you that was diagnosed with melanoma. Then it moved to my groin area, it metastasized. And so I was at stage 3C cancer, went through 2 surgeries, 2 rounds of treatment, immunotherapy, and had some major side effects like becoming a type 1 diabetic and some other things that were rough on my body. But after the second surgery, there was no sign of disease. They checked it out. My follow-up scans, everything looked great. So then I was just on quarterly checks. So every quarter I would have a PET scan just to see where things were at. Well, less than a year later in the summer of 24, after this original thing, so I guess it's almost 2 years after it started, they found more cancer on one of my PET scans, and then they did an emergency MRI to make sure my brain was fine, but they found a tumor in my brain. And so then it became stage 4, and I was dealing with cancer on my foot, my groin, it was in my lungs and my brain. And so they did some more immunotherapy. Things were going along seemingly good, some side effects, but nothing too bad, until I landed in the hospital New Year's Eve last year into the new year here, and found out that it had shut down my adrenal glands, and that it also had done harm to my thyroid. So they have to give me thyroid replacement, high blood pressure, some other things as well. So now I'm on medications to do the things my body does. But good news, we paused the treatment to stop those kind of things from happening. God had already been doing a miracle, and the cancer was shrinking, which was great. And so I was praising God for that. And then the latest PET scan that I just had after waiting 3 months with no treatment showed the cancer had not moved. It's still stable, which is great news. The MRI is going to be back today. I'm guessing for good. I'm believing for good news for that too. Yes, and so really right now I'm feeling much better. Still get really tired. Still have some issues that I have to deal with all my other bodily things that have happened, but I'm still keeping a smile on my face, still trusting God and believing for good things ahead.
Yeah, Russ, and as I was able to listen to that while I was hopefully getting everything resolved in the background, being a survivor myself with the prostate situation, just knowing, all the unknowns that we go through and what it takes to go through a series of different things. And it's always like, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Right.
So what, I know you're a spiritual man. I know you were a praying man, but what can you offer that person out there, man, that is in the same situation and may not have the connection you have, may not be grounded spiritually? How can you, other than hearing and seeing you, what can we share with them to help them?
Well, in New York, when you and I met, I told you I was talking on the power of perspective.
Yes.
And really, that's what I'm all about, is keeping a good perspective on life. Now, having a good perspective, everybody, does not mean you're happy all the time and everything goes great all the time. Having your perspective is knowing you've made it through 100% of your worst days so far. Every bad day you've had and bad situation in your life, you're still here. You're still breathing. If you're watching this video, God has given you life and you're still here. Yeah. And so waking up is a blessing every day and remembering the good things. So that perspective is focus on the good things in life and quit focusing on the negative things. You will find the good things stack up way higher than the bad things. Usually it's 2 or 3 really bad things that really drag us down. And we probably have hundreds of great things that are actually blessed in our life. You woke up this morning, you have a place to live, you have a family, you have friends. I mean, it goes on and on and on with the things that you're blessed with. You're able to walk, you're able to, and if you're not able to walk, I have a friend who went through melanoma and his leg was amputated. But you know what? He gives praise that he's still alive and he has a wheelchair and he has a prosthetic he can use if he needs it. There's things that you can do to overcome that. Some of the greatest lessons you can learn are from Joni Eareckson Tada, who is basically a paraplegic from a diving accident. And she is an amazing light in the world, not just for God, but for people to see somebody who is supposedly just supposed to curl up and die and chose to live, right? Yeah. And my favorite scripture, well, one of my favorite scriptures, I should say, is Psalm 118:17, which says, I will not die, but live and will proclaim what the Lord has done. God has done so many good things in my life, and I'm going to focus on those.
Yeah, man. I was writing notes as fast as I could when you start talking about the power of perspective and making it. You made it so far and just being grateful. But even with all of that, there's still, there's still some folks that are like, man, there's somebody out there right now that's on the edge. And man, if you were to say, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I understand it. Well, first of all, let me tell you, anybody watching, life's not easy all the time. And I'm not a bundle of joy all the time. It's just not a reality, right?
Yes.
And I think people need to realize that sometimes it's okay not to be okay. I can tell you when I am sick and throwing up and I have a high fever and I'm breaking out in rashes everywhere and I'm becoming a diabetic because my blood sugar is soaring, I'm having to call 911 and go to the hospital. I not happy.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. I'm not joyful. It just doesn't happen when those things are happening. But keeping a good perspective, I'm also not being nasty and negative and horrible either.
Yeah.
I am just making it through the rough times, knowing that there's better times ahead. And
Yeah.
I think that is way easier said than done. I
Yeah.
understand that. It is way easier said than done. But the truth is, you can do it. Absolutely. I know. I'm a walking testimony, and so is Geoff. You can do it. And so hang in there and make it through.
You know, I love that, man. And your words, just listening to them, were calming by themselves. You know, when you at that point, it's okay to be at that point, but just hold on. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, you got to feel your emotions. You got to be able to. I think it actually hurts you if you don't really let yourself go through whatever you're doing. I mean, when honestly, and I just did a story on for a group called it's called The Patient Story. And it's all about my cancer story. And they did such a wonderful job. But I was thinking about that when I was telling my whole story for them, that, you just have to realize that there's going to be times and situations where things are not good.
Right.
But you know what? You just have to hang tight, and you just have to realize there's people like friends like Geoff that care about you. There's family and friends and community, and they're going to be there to support you. And you just got to keep moving forward. But it's okay to have that emotion, to cry and to just be sad. And sometimes you're just a little depressed at times over what's going on, but you are going to make it through. You realize that you're going to come out the other side. Yeah. Don't stay there is my advice.
Yeah.
Let it happen for a season, but move out of that and look forward to brighter days, because God does have a plan for you and brighter days ahead.
Brighter days ahead. And here's, just listening to you made me think about, it's been a little over a year since my marketing director and also my baby sister passed. And she did all these things that prevented us from having problems, other than what happens, technology wise. And when you said, it's okay to feel, man, I believe that being someone that neglected my feelings for the first half of my year, stuffed everything and pretended like everything was all right, to experience a true grieving process without medication, self-medication, without things to make me feel better, just standing in the feelings, standing in the emotions, Russ, it was right. Like I would find myself getting through things quicker and feeling better at the end of it sooner. And then when I did have memories, they would be joyful memories, not as much of the sad memories. I still had sad memories, but because I stood in those memories at those times and I faced the fears of not knowing what was going to happen. Not that I'm all magnificent. I just think it's my experience around what you're saying is so true. Learning to feel the feel, right?
Well, and you learn and grow through it. I mean, you have the most growth in your life through rough circumstances.
Yes.
And I mean, it's honestly, it just, I think that what people have to realize is nobody else controls your life and destiny other than God, but nobody else on this earth can dictate what you can and can't do. And you just need to realize you can do a whole lot more than you think. People underestimate that, and they think, oh man, I was going through this now, I just can't do it. Well, you know what? You could probably do a lot more than you think.
Yes.
You just got to take it one step at a time, and you got to realize that there's those down seasons, the valleys, and then you come up, and then you'll have those mountaintop experiences where you're feeling better and you're able to maybe inspire and encourage others through what you're going through.
Yeah. And that's the thing, we need to get through it, because I believe that our journeys are meant to be shared, not to be shared in commiseration around the victim perspective, but to provide hope for other people that are going to be similar or have similar journeys and similar travels. And we have folks hopping into the comments, Evriel and some other folks from Facebook. Just want to acknowledge them and thank them for coming over and saying yay. And as always, supporting you, Russ, and appreciate y'all showing up and make sure you get this message out to everybody. So as we're talking about different feelings, I want to make sure too that I made a note here, and a lot of what we're talking about, perspective and standing in the feeling, some of that has. Let's talk about how our self-worth and our belief about ourselves is either impacted by that or will have an effect on how we act around that.
Right. Well, it has a huge effect on how you act with what you're going through. I always say be an actor, not a reactor. Don't be reacting to everything going on in your life. Just actually take a step forward and take action, act on it. And so what that means is, if you think that things, you are what you think, right? So change your thinking, change your life. Craig Rochelle, that's a subtitle of one of his books.
Yeah.
Change your thinking, change your life. The way you think about yourself and about your situation and all that you're going through is going to affect everything you do. If you have a very low self-worth, you're not going to push forward and do things because you don't think you can. And that is a what's the word I'm looking for? Proclamation of what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
You are putting your own destiny on display by telling everybody and telling yourself you can't do it. Yes. And there's things, but that's not true. That's not true because there's so much you can do. And the thing is we limit ourselves. We are limiting beliefs, all the things, the imposter syndrome that people have, telling themselves that they're no good, they can't do that. And I understand that a lot of people have been around situations, maybe it's family, maybe it's friends, maybe it's teachers that have really drug them down. And so you got to work on getting into a community in a situation and be around people that are going to lift you up, not tear you down. So I love what Jim Rohn says, and that is you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yes.
So start spending time with people that lift you up, build you up, tell you you have value. That will help you.
Yeah. And man, that's so important. And raising the proximity, the quality of the folks in your immediate proximity is so powerful. Not easy to do. It takes some courage to stand in a space that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
But there's always someone there that'll help you though. I believe that the more successful folks get that are based off of serving other people, the more genuine they become and the more they seek to serve other people. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I believe that. Yeah. I think being genuine and being authentic is critical, right?
Yes.
Because some people might say of me, I'm a very upbeat, positive guy. So I always find the good in things. My family will say something and I'll look at everybody and say, well, the good news is we're still alive and we're still moving forward, right?
Yeah.
And some people will go, stop. They don't want to hear that. And I understand that. I mean, I may overdo it at times because that's just the way I am. But the truth is that when we are really authentically ourselves, people will see that over time. I think people that really know me know that's the way that I am.
Yeah.
So Geoff, I think that's the way that I am. And so, I mean, it is just, I'm going to love life and enjoy all that I can. And that doesn't mean I don't have to rest and take care of myself and go through some rough times, but it's going to be okay. I'm going to make it through.
Yeah. So listening to you, the thought came to mind, and have you always been that way or something happened in your life where you began to rewrite your own narrative? You started to offset this thinking.
Probably both. So what I mean by that is, yes, God created me this way, but I also had amazing parents and I was blessed with an amazing childhood. A lot of times I say that I had an unfair advantage because I had parents who pushed me to do all that I could do and supported me in everything that I did.
Yeah.
My dad used to actually he owned a company. And so he would sit up in one of his vans and watch football practice every day, not just the games. He was there watching practice every day.
Yeah.
And so my parents supported me so much. And so my mama was the happiest person alive. She ended up passing from Alzheimer's a few years back, but she was the happiest person really till the end of her life. She just was a happy person.
Yeah.
And so having that positive perspective and joyful attitude and having a good mindset about life, really, she reinforced that in me. And I had that kind of personality from God. And so I think that a combination, I've always been that way. And over time, I became more that way.
Well, yeah, and I love that. There's so much that the parents do for us that we don't always appreciate it all the time, but to have all those things going on makes the big difference, man. For those that don't have that,
right? Oh yeah,
and are fighting their own battles and still showing up each and every day. I think that so it's possible to do both.
I have so much respect for people like that, Geoff. People that I know that have fought through horrible situations. People that I've just been really blessed. And so there's situations of friends of mine who have had not good situations with their parents.
Right.
Maybe only had a single parent who wasn't really involved. And so they did have to pretty much do everything by themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe other things happened that were really scarring and tough.
Yep.
Maybe they were picked on and bullied as a kid by their friends, and they didn't have a lot of really close friends. Maybe they went through situations where they lost people they loved and had really, tragic and life-changing moments,
Right.
but still persevered to become better. And I could tell you, one person I'll throw out there, I don't know if you know her, but her name is Lisa Marie. She lives in Australia.
Yes.
She's a really good friend. And Lisa,
lady. Yeah.
yeah, she's like a regular on my Marketing with Russ. She's on like once a month.
Unbelievable lady.
She is so great. Jim Rohn was her personal mentor for years before he passed.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, she had a rough early life and has totally turned things around. And I tell you, she is just an encouragement and an inspiration to me.
Well, actually, I met her through you, and we've had her as a guest on the show. And as you said, the early trauma and I think it was menopause a couple of times before she was 30, and let alone then all the other things that happen at home, and she's just a beaming light, man. And she went through it. It's not everything that she's gone through, and everybody has their own story around it. But like you said, she's just an amazing.
Oh, she is, yeah. So, and I think that I have so many amazing friends, and I mean, Geoff, you and I have had both situations with different types of cancer, and you're a real inspiration for me too, because you just keep moving and keep inspiring, and through your conversations with Geoff that we're having today, what a blessing you are to people. By the way, you have the most calming voice and spirit. And so I listen to you and it just almost makes me sleepy. It's so calm, which is that's a complete compliment, but it's just like, wow, I'm kind of lulled into this. I feel really good talking to Geoff. It's just great.
That's how I get all the secrets out of you, right? I mean, I have people. Did I really say that on your show? Yes.
Oh, no, that's so great. That's so great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Yeah. Well, you're a blessing.
You as well, man. Wow. Thanks for the compliment. You're going to have me tearing up here in a minute, bro. So, man, we've talked a lot about feelings and personal things, but as we kind of wind down, and you are the master marketer and connector, with everything going crazy now and employment in such array with firings and people not sure what to do, what can you talk about, Russ, for people that are still wanting to stay where they are and may need, people are shifting around them, leadership's changing, Is there anything you can kind of outline for those folks that need some direction in terminal times?
Right. Well, what I would say to anyone is I would rewind all the way back to, what are you really passionate about? Because, as TD Jake says, your passion will drive you to your purpose.
Yes.
So what are you passionate about, and what is your purpose in life? Maybe it has nothing to do with the job you're in, and that's why you're having so many troubles. Or maybe it has everything to do with the job you're in and you love your job, right? I mean, who knows? We have all different situations, but we can all become better, and we all need to evaluate where we are currently. Sometimes that means that maybe you need to change jobs, change careers. People don't realize the great opportunity today with technology, being able to start your own business, being able to do things. You could go out there and make money and start your own business. You can't do it. I didn't think I could until I had to. And then voila, after COVID happened, I went, wow, I maybe need to just do my business. And I really felt God driving me that direction. So I did. And that was really my passion. And that's what really, even though I had loved the jobs that I had, it's not like I didn't like what I was doing. I was in a career in sales and marketing with people, which I loved. So I enjoyed that, but it became even better working for myself. And being able to do the things like this, inspire and encourage people, and be on conversations with Geoff. I couldn't have done this before because my employer had me running 100 miles an hour with a whole sales team, trying to keep them on track. And so, I think that people need to evaluate where they are and look at that and see, is that really aligned with their passion and their purpose in life? Because I believe God has given us all a passion, a purpose, God-given purpose in life. And if you're not living that, quit your job and do something else, honestly. And I tell young people that, Geoff, all the time. When I speak to young people, I say, if you're young in business and you're having troubles, quit and get a new job now while you still have time. Get a new career now while you still have time. You can do it. And, yes, I know you have to be smart, and you have to get another job while you're working the job you hate. I get that. But you still can do it. You can still do that.
Yeah. And that's funny you mentioned that. I've been running into a lot of young people. And I tell them, I say, listen, I know, and this also washes over my grandchildren who are still fairly young, that we have to be careful that we are not preparing our children for a world that no longer exists.
Yeah.
Right. There are so many opportunities to if you want to do something in theater, if you want to do something in art, if you want to do something, wherever it might be, as you mentioned, there are people now that are out there providing services to teach people how to do these things. You don't necessarily have to go to college to be like most 80% of the people that graduate from college, in a degree that they do, none of them like it. And the 20% that are in what they do, 80% of them don't like what they do. So it's crazy that we continue to push everybody that way, and then they come out with that and unhappy. And I'm a college graduate, and I have a business degree, so I'm not belittling the benefits of that.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, don't wait 30 years and then change. Don't be like a lady, which I'm so proud of. The other day I was talking to her. She's probably 65. She's getting ready to get her bachelor's degree in criminal justice because that's something she wanted to do. And she tells her grandkids, I may be old and gray, but I'm not dead.
Well, I completely agree with you. Not everybody needs college. In fact, there's so many good trade schools.
Yep.
I have friends, and I have a niece who's a phlebotomist. She went to a trade school to become a medical school to become a phlebotomist. Took her 8 or 9 months. Yep. She was placed in the job immediately. Some of these schools will actually place you, and so then because half the people coming out of college can't get a job.
Can't get a job.
And then when they do get a job, they didn't really know what they wanted, so they just got a degree in whatever. I also have a degree from Oregon State University. I do. I have a communications degree, which really served me well, but not what I really went in for, because it took me, I took 5 years to get a 4-year degree because I kind of floundered. Didn't really know for sure what I was doing, and I spent a lot of money that I had to pay back, right? Yeah. And so you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was blessed to have, I went to school just to play football. I got a full ride scholarship. I'm on my way to play football. I was at one point. It amazes me, blows my mind when I talk about being a 1.99 high school graduate.
Yeah.
At that time, because it's just how I was struggling and where I was, man, and be able to have a business degree in business, it worked for me. But even then, all the time there was a voice saying, Geoff, you should be doing this on your own. You should be running your own business, and then for those of you out there like that and had a comfortable lifestyle, don't be too comfortable because time flies. Time flies. Yeah. And that's one thing we still don't know how to get back, and that's time.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. Yeah. I just really think people need to stop and not beat themselves up over what's going on in their life, but evaluate.
Yeah.
Is this really where I want to go? And it's never too late to make a change. Why not change your life for positive? And if you're in a negative situation, man, I have so many people that I interview on Marketing with Russ. By the way, we just had our 500th episode on that show.
Yes, sir.
And it's very exciting. And so many people that we interview that left corporate America because they actually had physical problems, stress and anxiety, and it actually gave them physical heart problems and other stuff. They had to get out of that, and they went into their own business and never have been happier. Same with our show, by the way, another shameless plug. Tomorrow, the Experience Live with Russ and Scott celebrates 200 episodes, 7 a.m. Pacific time. And so jump in there. But it is, again, a bunch of people that are just have bailed from corporate America to actually have a better life. And they do.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
It certainly is possible. And I believe it's necessary.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I think so.
I think it's to be examples for those coming behind them, for their own self-worth, right, and belief and all that good stuff. So, Russ, yep. I probably kept you longer than you wanted to be.
Oh, we're all good. Yeah, no, we're good. I still have 30 seconds left. No, just kidding.
Well, as we wind down, and I mean, we've covered some things. Perspective. I love that. We cover some things about doing it anyway, standing in your emotions and your feelings, and as you look through, the 2025 season with your crystal ball, what do you want people to walk away from this conversation with?
Well, my number one thing that I would say is learn to keep a good perspective. It takes effort. It takes work. And you have to practice keeping a good perspective. You got to practice keeping a good mindset because your mindset rules your perspective. The way you're thinking rules how you see things.
Right.
And how do you do that? You practice. Every morning I get up, before I get out of bed, I do 3 things. I'm thankful. I'm blessed. And I say, I'm so thankful for all the good things that God has given me, my beautiful wife, my family. I give myself a pep talk, say, I can do what I need to do today. I've been gifted by God to get out there and do the things I need to do. And I have purpose in my life. Number 3, I say today is going to be awesome. So I choose that good mindset right off the bat.
Right.
I choose awesome. And then it shapes my perspective because now I'm looking at the day like, hey, today's going to be awesome. So no matter what happens, good or bad, and bad things happen during the day, not just good,
right.
But I'm filtering it through my awesome filter.
Yes.
And my awesome filter makes everything look a whole lot better. So choose a good perspective, practice a good mindset and perspective. And that's what I want to leave with people. If you want more information on me, go to russhedge.com. Russhedge.com is one-stop shop for everything about me.
And I will tell you too, Russ, I believe in the description somewhere, all of your other links are in there. And I love the fact that you talked about how you closed it and you wrapped it all up because it takes practice.
Yep.
I don't know anybody who wakes up 100% wired, right?
No.
And the best job that we have and can do is on ourselves first and foremost, consistently.
Right.
And I know the difference when I'm in that space where I haven't done that check. I haven't looked in the mirror and gone through the things that remind me of what I want, gratefulness and how I should be happy and all these other things. and it shows in how I act. So perspective is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it takes, and I'm just going to say before we close up, it takes work, everybody. It does. So you got to put the work in to do it. It doesn't just happen. Just like Geoff just said, I choose to say those things in the morning because we all wake up, and usually what we wake up with is all the negative voices in our mind. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do what I have to do today. I don't feel good. You start hearing all these things. I'm anxious about this. I'm worried about that. Well, you got to fight that. And the only way to replace those things in your brain is to replace them with positive things. And your brain actually, it is, I'm not a doctor, everybody, but it is, I've heard so many talks on the fact that it is a physical reality that your brain actually rewires itself to look for what you are thinking about.
Yes.
If you're looking for good and positive things, it will find them.
Yeah.
If you're looking for bad and negative things, it will find them. So it's your choice.
It doesn't discriminate. The brain does
Nope.
not discriminate. I love the thought of retraining the brain, right? I mean, and it works. It takes effort, and it works. And to your point this morning, man, it's a struggle for me this morning, right? Just because of some stuff going on that I'm working on solving. But but knowing that I had this show today, knowing I was going to see my friend and get what I needed and have the impact that you're going to have when people listen to this, it was all worth it, man. It was all worth it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, brother. Much love to you today and always.
Right back at you.
Prayers, and then let's do this thing again, man.
Oh, absolutely. Love chatting with you, Geoff.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say goodbye to my friend Russ Hedge. Yeah. Fire, baby. All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, I go back and listen to the things that my man shared today, and make sure you reach out to him. And tomorrow morning, I think he said his show is at 7 Pacific time. So if you can catch that, but it's in LinkedIn. If you can't catch the actual live, do catch the replays. I missed the 500 episode myself, and I feel bad about that. So I'm sure there's a way to watch that one. You can tell from the man's heart that he cares. You would never know some of the things he's been through because of the perspective, because of the habits that he has that he shared with you. So as we leave here today, I want to say thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe, pass this information on, reach out to my friend Russ, continue to support him. All those folks that stopped in today, hey, I'm sorry if we didn't recognize you throughout the show, but we appreciate your support. Make sure you share this and subscribe to this show. And like I always tell our family, remember, you are meant for more. Nothing shall stop you from reaching your destiny. You shall not be denied. You are worthy of, and then fill in the blank. I always like to say you are worthy of success. Nothing will stop you from reaching your destiny. You shall not be denied. Watch that thinking, and understand that the growth comes through the comeback. All right, we'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day. Reach out to my friend Russ. Take care, guys.